a better way to automatically curate in the future the projects. Right now we have to do it manually. So my intention in this call is maybe finding an agreement between everyone on what should be the first steps on the manual recognition of these projects. What's the criteria? What's going to be the numeric value or the formula that we are going to choose? So eventually in the future, we don't have to do this work manually. And yeah, in general, discuss that. Having a brainstorm around everyone, because how it's working right now, it's super basic, super incomplete, actually. And yeah, I'll pass it to Lauren.
Hey, yeah. I totally agree with Mateo saying. I think like we saw with the DAP node airdrop, like how many people were just like jumping in and like just going crazy, like looking for ways to get the airdrop and like pushing. So I think like if we can make at least Giveth.io like more optimized to be able to sustain like a greater influx of projects, and then also make it so that like we keep our projects page like neat and organized and like with credible projects. I think having like a lot of like just junky projects and people seeking airdrops and just like all this chaos, it makes things look really unprofessional. And I think like the Giveth name is something that we want to uphold as like, yeah, having credibility. So I think this is like really important to address. I'll pass it to Mitch.
Yeah, I agree with Lauren that it does look super junky when there's just all these random projects with no description on them. You know, it's like we're becoming the Craigslist of like philanthropy, you know? It's like, I don't know, nobody knows what's going on here. So I agree that we should have multiple statuses, and I think the proposed one of listed, unlisted, and then verified and kind of have these tiers is a really great start that we can begin working towards. And I'll give it to Danny.
Sorry guys, I have to find my mouse. Yeah, I am a very, very strong advocate of the unlisted layer. It is very, very sad for me when I pull up Giveth to show, and there's a couple good ones, and then when I start mentioning, there's a lot of strange things. I think it still fully fulfills our mission that anybody can create a project on Giveth. Anybody can share that link and raise money and receive it and do it the way they want. And for it to be displayed on the Giveth website, it needs to meet higher quality standards. Let's raise our standards. And the solution that's listed on the community is supportive. Yeah. I'm not sure who to pass it to. How about Mateo?
You're already gone, so Ashley?
Yeah, I also agree that this is a really important thing, and we saw just in one day the amount of influx that we got, and still daily we're receiving, $1 donations to these projects from people just seeking airdrops from one little announcement that was made at some point. So it's definitely something that we should start focusing on now before we launch the economy, and make sure that we have something really solid and stable once the economy launches, so that we don't get a lot of these like strange projects coming on and like just diluting kind of what's already there. So yeah, I think this is a great start with having unlisted, listed, and then they apply for verification moving onward, and so they can have different tiers, and yeah, exploring ways that in the future we don't have to continue manually listing and unlisting something, like some sort of algorithmic formula, or what kind of parameters we can set that this can be an automated procedure. And yeah, and as we define like the terms of use that we're working on and things like that, I think that will be very helpful to clarify for users, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and kind of like what to expect if the amount of effort that they're willing to put into listing a legitimate project. So yeah, I think this is a great discussion, and I'll pass it to Mohammed. Mohammed, have you gone?
No, I didn't. I'm just want to get an update from you guys. I have no idea just now. I want to know. So I have nothing to say. I pass it to Amin. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I as you believe that it's very important because we are, the Giveth brand is somehow verified projects that are on top. Say that yes, they are important. Donate to them, and we should be so cautious about how to put our credit on projects. About algorithm, I might have said we should first maybe talk about the criteria. We have some parameters and then put them and then define a formula based on that criteria. So my suggestion is to first talk about which criteria we have and which data we can provide to that formula. Verified, how much donated. I don't know. For instance, if you have verified a charity with number of followers in Twitter that 100K, and another project is verified by a person that has I don't know 50 followers. Maybe they should be different. I guess data is very important in this matter, and anyone. I think that we can think about we can have idea about how we can pull data from the outside, for instance, like Twitter, Instagram, anywhere that we think that it will be a good source for users to provides us verified data to process on it. That's it. I pass it back to Monique.
Yeah, I think Metal can lead the meeting better, but I just want to show you guys something that is very, I think it can help our discussion. Can you see my screen?
You're not sharing screen.
Different parameters.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, my Discord's frozen.
Oh. Can I go right now? Or?
I see it. I can
see it too.
Okay. If you take a look at, for example, this is Binance Charity, and on its homepage, some projects are listed, but that getting listed or unlisted is a thing. But getting the priority and design this page on its homepage, for example, which projects comes first. I think it's related to a scoring parameters. The higher score, for homepage, it gets more visible for everyone. But I think that they have some parameters manually. For example, the admin of the website decided to show it in the homepage, and as the parameters, the admin said that okay, let's for example put this much scoring, and besides all of the other scores, it's listed in the homepage of the projects. But if you think at the end of the this page is just finished, yeah, I cannot go forward or backward, don't see any pagination, for example. But if I decide to, for example, go to project and search about the specific project or sort them, I can do it on this website. And I think the same for GoFundMe. GoFundMe has some it's a project here. It's not the latest project, I think, but it's a good design, and first of all, just selected projects, and after that, they have icons to go through, for example, the categorize that we have it on Giveth.io on the top of the page, filtering them based on the category. And, they have, for each category, they have 3 top projects here, and I can decide to see more and see more of them. I think, it's my point of view. On my point of view, I think it's all related to the scoring. And I saw that you had lots of discussions about the scoring. If we can make that data scoring, more clear for everybody, I think it's a better idea to say just go this one listed or unlisted. It doesn't make sense just listed or unlisted. It just, maybe we can do a better view, for example, categorize them based on this, for example, categories. Or then it doesn't mean listing or unlisting. And if I put click on discover, I can find even the success stories that the stories that are finished. For example, if you have a project that's funded enough and everything is paid, we have this status in and Trace. It's called completed project or completed campaigns. I go through this, or if I want to search it, it has lots of search items like everything. I just want to show it to have a clue about what we're talking about. I pass it to you, Metal.
Sure. So going back to the score that you were mentioning, we already have that quality score, and I think that's the main issue right now. It's very susceptible to attacks. Everything of this raised when a project that was created on Saturday was got itself to the top of the website in one day. By the next day, it accumulated like $500 on donations and a lot of likes. I'm not sure how GoFundMe or Binance does it, but I am very sure that they don't allow any project like it was created in 5 minutes on a Saturday night to get on top of their verified or whatever projects list. So in our sense that we are open and very free to everyone, we have to make it very resilient in that sense. I bet that Binance don't allow any project to go just showing in the front page just like that. Let's say that you create it and you put ugly photos or something that is not very pleasant to see, or you are trolling or something like that. Right now, our application allows it, and that's the main issue. Our system of scoring is very basic. It was done by James many months ago, and he said, this is like the first version. We shouldn't rely on it. We should get back soon, and we didn't get back. The formula or the way that it works right now is every project gets by default 40 points of a score, and it increases by many actions that the project allows. So the first action is the user actually set up a name, an email, has some information. The second part is the project gets some updates. Every update that you make gives you scores. I'm not sure if it's 5 points or 10 points. Anyway, it's an amount that adds up. After that, if you get donations and if you have like long descriptions, you can also have a lot of points. So the way this Chinese project got itself to the top was by giving like 50 likes or so, having many donations, and having like 1 or 2 updates. I'm not sure how many. So by the end of that weekend, they had 150 something or around 200 points, where Giveth, and I think the other one that Danny created, I'm not sure, I think it's Diamante Luz, had below 150 points. And that was the main way of sorting and adding the projects to the landing page. I think we can find a better way, a more strict way to add the quality scores, but we cannot rely only of that, because in the sense that we are very open to everyone to add the projects, we cannot rely on that everyone is going to be a serious person and are actually a legitimate project that wants to just have fun. There will be trolls, there will be people that are looking forwards to get givebacks. It's very exploitable. So the listed unlisted feature makes sense in our sense that we are open. We are not just going to hide them until proven that they are trolling. They will be shown. They will only not be listed on our site. We can even make a test on GoFundMe or whatever. But I am almost sure that they are very curated and in a very centralized and closed way. I'm almost sure that they don't have they don't have it that automatically. I bet it's a manual work. They have I don't know, these are going to be the projects that are going to be shown in the main page, etc. So this first filter would work for having our main page very clean. If you see Giveth.io, a couple of weeks ago, it was a mess. There were projects like make the application look very unreliable. I don't know. It was like Mitch says, the Craigslist of philanthropy, and that's not nice. So so there are two problems. The quality score, how we're going to handle it so it's fair for the future, and how can we maybe in the future automatize everything in this curation based on this number. And the other part is how the listing process would look like right now, because for me that's the easiest way to solve the issue and keep our application cleaner super fast, because we cannot come up with a formula that will solve all of our issues. We will still have in the bottom of the list the most hideous projects or the most troll projects that anyone can upload. So yeah, that's how it works right now, the quality scoring. I'm not sure if anyone here has experience with curating in some other projects or something like that, because that's a bit tough. We have to find ways to measure different properties and make it reliable so that it can be automated. Right now, it's only we set some points to some actions, but we have to be careful that they are not susceptible to attacks of random people, or I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if you guys have any comments.
Okay, because all the video is off, I can't. Yeah, go ahead, Ashley.
Well, I just want to say, I can see both perspectives. I see, what you're saying with eventually in the future, once we have a great algorithm for this, we can, maybe categorize things and set up the homepage in the presentation in a way that, shows the highest quality projects first. But I also agree with Mateo that in the interim right now, we need to have some sort of plan and action to at least start getting some resilience now while we do the research on what the best curation method will be in the future. It still allows anybody to make a project. It still allows anybody to accept donations. and things like that, but it also really protects us and the resilience of the application to have something in place for now until we can come up with a better solution in the future.
Thing is to repeat this process.
I totally agree with Ashley, and I think something else that's like an advantage of the listed unlisted things is that right now we also don't have anything protecting against like projects that should obviously be canceled, like things that are like
and
like publicizing people's private information or like could be considered like harassment or like assault or different things. Like we have like our community covenant right now, and I think like if we create this like layer of protection where we have like our team of admins or a team of people that are like saying this project should be listed or unlisted, it also like adds in like pre-screening to like prevent projects that should like actually just be canceled.
Finding it, like making this.
So I think it's like an extra.
Anybody else? Mitch?
I think that it's another thing that's really important in this process is to come up with a way to communicate these guidelines and this criteria clearly to the users so that we don't have a lot of people coming, well, why isn't my project showing up on the main page or something? And then we can say, well, this is the criteria of what it takes to be listed and unlisted, and we have those guidelines and that documentation to fall back on and make sure that it's really clear for them so that it's not just us being, picky or choosy or like being the main deciders. Like there's guidelines in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think something that would be useful is like when we're doing the listed and unlisted thing, if we think a project should be unlisted, then the admin who's like keeping the project as unlisted should send an email out to the project being like, hey, your project's unlisted, please add more information in this spot, or please describe what you mean by blah 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 blah, because some of the projects are just like giving to causes that are useful, and then so it's like we could send an email to them being like, hey, we love that you added your project on Giveth, but like please elaborate on like what this looks like, and then we could even create like a template of like an example of like what a good project should look like that we kind of like auto email to people that remain unlisted after being checked.
I love that, Lauren. It doesn't have to be customized or anything, but an email that says, hey, here are the points that it requires for a project to be featured. Compare your project to this for areas of improvement to get you featured higher.
So go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, it's okay. I heard Lauren say template, and I've seen us create a lot of templates in the past. I'm not a big fan of creating templates so that projects all look the same, but having a checklist of items to make sure that you've included or covered feels better.
Just so maybe I follow the conversation correctly, you're talking about starting projects as listed and then unlisting them? Or the opposite, other way around?
The opposite. So projects start unlisted and then they get like approved to be listed, but when the person is like looking at the project, if they don't want to approve it to be listed, they want it to remain unlisted, they like sends an email to the project.
Right, okay. If an admin does that, so then it's still a manual process of listing them. Okay, all right. I just, I wonder if we're going to get too much overhead over that. I can see from just as an example of when we got hit, it was like 30 or 40 projects got made in one day. Yeah. And so like, I just like, what if we start them as unlisted and adding on to that, we could fast track them, or after X period, they automatically become listed? The onus is kind of on us, like after 3 or 4 days, they automatically are listed. And if we didn't do the due diligence, then that's not on them, it's on us.
Exactly. And we can also wash our hands saying that this spread has not been revised by our team or is not completely checked for the quality. So be careful on donating maybe give up an option to flag it. I think that's also, we can also leave that work for the users. If you don't like what you're seeing right now, let us know and we give priority to checking the quality of that project.
Mm-hmm. And
thinking. Mm-hmm.
as an admin, we could always go back and unlist them.
Yeah, that's it.
And that would just be an event in the database, and we send them an email. It can all be automated.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I am thinking of building some basic dashboard. I don't want it to be so complex, but something that can only be accessible by the unicorns. And you can see the projects that are not currently listed, the unlisted ones, and eventually, if I follow my idea, the flagged ones, because it's important to keep constant feedback from the people, and we don't just put all the responsibility to the team. I think that's important for the scale in the future. We are talking about right now 200 projects in total, but in the future they may be thousands. So yeah.
I just have another suggestion that, besides all of the parameters that you have for quality scoring, an admin have some manual points there that can put in for example, the admin dashboard. For any reason, I may want one of the project has more quality score, and I want to do it manually to get listed at the first page. For example, for coronavirus, maybe, for example, for earthquake, one of our project for our partners, maybe, and it has not enough quality score, so we can manually push them up, to get seen there.
We can make this dashboard as a CMS. I don't know if you have heard the term. It's a content management system. So we can also add a feature that the admins can have the say on putting some projects to the highlight, and it will go to the top 3 projects of the month. Or let's say that we have like season kind of projects. Let's say the thing right now is the pandemic, so we are going to show the top 3 pandemic-related projects, and that's curated by us completely. It's a manual process, and we can totally do that apart from the quality score. Let's say it's just a new project and it's important, and we just made a partnership with them, and we want to show them in the main page and all of that. Give it like the highlight. We can also do that. So talking about this, I think that this will be like the beginning of a admin dashboard feature that is quite big and has the potential to have many impactful features for us, like highlights, like by flagging, removing, I don't know, the God mode of Giveth in the centralized aspect that we currently have. In the future, that also could help for, I don't know, everything that can be related to the givebacks, the verification, many other issues. I don't know. So maybe this is the beginning of that big epic in the application.
Ruben, okay. And, the purpose of this meeting is just to, I think, reach a conclusion on that forum post to make it past. So if we can summarize these ideas that we all agree about it, let's have a comment there and maybe reach the conclusion. And this is my idea. And for the sake of my sprint goal, just make it some the very earliest step to just make the listed and unlisted feature done, and the research done, and the forum post passed, and also we know what we're going to do in the next sprints. That's all I think we can do for the purpose of this meeting.
I believe the first step is to find agreement on the criteria post that Lauren made. If we find we like all of the properties that a project should follow to be accepted and listed and verified eventually, we can have that as a first step. Then the technical side, of course, is having the feature to list them, unlist them, making a basic dashboard for us to do it very quick. But we have to get ready to unlist a lot of the projects that don't follow this criteria, and we have to send them the emails and let them know, hey, you have been unlisted because we have updated our criteria to be shown in here, and you don't follow those qualities. I think that's the first and most difficult part of all of this, because for a new project that will be very explicit, we have to tell them as soon as they create the project, you won't be listed. You will begin a review process. If you don't follow this criteria, you won't be listed, and so. So I think that parallel with the quality score, that's going to be a little bit tough, and I don't think that is a solution that we find in one meeting. I know it's a problem that even the biggest in tech, like Facebook, hasn't solved it completely. I know like 80-70% of the people that work for Facebook are curating all the crap that people upload to the social network, and it's tough. So we cannot like finally find a way to automate this curation, but we can make the process so that the page is as clean as possible. So the quality score and all of that mathematical thing, and how we can assign properties of quality, that can be a research of time. We can optimize what we have right now. I cannot tell you what are the values that we are assigning, but I can make a post explaining it, because it was a long time ago, and it was James back in the day that he did it. So I can begin by explaining what's going on right now, what's the numbers looking, how's the quality score changing throughout time, and then we can see what are the failure points in there. I see it like that. I don't know if you guys have comments on that.
I just wanted to ask, hey Lauren, can you post the link to your document that you made in the forum post?
Sure, I can. Also, if you guys right now, I've been taking notes this meeting, kind of summarizing what we've been saying. I just put it in the meeting notes section, and also the link to the listed unlisted guide is in the meeting notes thing. So if like while we're talking about it right now, it's useful. It's there.
I don't know, maybe.
Thank you. So I think for the sake of this sprint, we have to put priority on accepting the criteria, maybe adding some new points if Lauren missed something there. In the tech side, I very likely will work with Carlos, so he helps me on the impact graph to set this check mark on the listing, unlisting, and maybe we next have to check all of the projects that are currently live and see what of those, which of those are not fulfilling the criteria completely, and unlist them. I think that should be a goal for this sprint.
So go ahead, Monique.
Sorry. The eighth story point for researching. Can we make sure that the research about this item is not fully finished, but we reached a conclusion at this time that our scoring is working, and what listed and unlisted, and I can do I can do listing and unlisting, for example, from a database, not a unique dashboard. I think it's good. Am I right?
Yeah.
So just to hear what you're saying, Matteo, Hugo and Carlos are going to build the event in the impact graph,
Yeah.
and then
that
it can be called from the graph or from wherever.
Yeah, ideally, I mean, making a simple dashboard just to say this is a project and send the email event or whatever shouldn't be that hard. But in the first step, we can do it all manually through the impact graph. It's just an event. So either way, it could work.
Well, if you build the event and just call it, then it'll make the emailing part a lot less work.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think it's an issue for Carlos too about the number 121. That is optimizing quality score formula. I think it's get blocked by this research, and we plan for it for this sprint. If you think that we have to end up, passing that proposal for quality scoring first, and after that, Carlos start with that issue. I think we can, put it in the backlog instead of this sprint.
Yeah. I think that issue came around because I think in some functions the quality score was being added improperly. It was adding more points than it should have. So yeah, I have to talk to him, and I'll tell you about it. We can move it in the backlog if we don't have to do any work, and it's actually nothing that important that can wait for the research to be done. Yeah, I'll leave that for later.
Oh, that's it. I don't have any cards. Mitch, Lauren, Ashley, anybody else? Very good. So we can expect that we can pass this proposal, at early days of next week, for example, Monday. What do you think? Or it needs more discussion?
I think it's fine. I think personally, I think it sounds like almost everybody agrees that this is a good idea, and we can sort of just move forward without too much bureaucracy.
Yeah, I think as long as we get like some feedback in the forum, a little bit more in the forum and around the document that you created, get some comments in that, start working on an email, like taking some of those first steps, then yeah, we can kind of make more defined decisions as we move forward and see how it develops.
Yeah, and we can carry this on. We have our cons meeting next. We can add these as like action items and like distribute it through the cons team as well.
Whether it's people working.
Sounds great.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for your time and joining the meeting. If no one has more comments, let's say goodbye.
Yeah, and if you have if you find with any application that does curation amazingly and you believe that we can replicate it, please let us know, because I think that's going to be the problem in the future.
Yeah. Mohammed, I think you have some experience. Am I right or not?
About scoring? No.
Yeah. You don't have? Okay.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
I have another question. Sorry. Can we know that how we can know that people tweeted about this, for example, this project? Do Twitter have services that we grab the information from there? For example, from the Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and everything. I think it's a very good point for them if they people talks about this project in the social media. How we can calculate it, the comments, the visits, the tweets, for example, about the special project.
Yeah, it's pretty much a problem of analytics, but I can say that using the hashtags, a very particular hashtag, and see how it's moving and how it's being interacted in the platform, we can get a cool measure in there. Were you going to say something, Mohammed?
No, I just want to confirm Monique's idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Thank you,
now,
everybody.
when somebody shares their project on social media, does it add a hashtag to it as it is right now?
I think maybe an automatic way. Monique wants an automatic, not manual.
Yeah, we can, for example, ask
Use
for
Twitter.
Twitter, LinkedIn, every social media, and to tell us how much, for example, a special link for site is shared or get likes or even reshared.
Well, I know
I
that
don't know.
Twitter has analytics in it, at least to some extent. We tried some UTM link estimation, experiments before, and they didn't quite work out the way that we expected. So I don't know if that's really the way to go. I was more so wondering, like, when you go to the project page and you click the Twitter button and you're like, share this on Twitter, it comes up with an automated message that's already put in. Like, maybe we can add like a very specific hashtag to that message that's easy to follow.
And we may add, analytic events there. After clicking anywhere I'm there. Yeah, long way we have ahead. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.